Remember back in the day when you taught me to live and I taught you to pray. We went in the battle together, no matter the weather, we never delayed. You gave me commands, I always obeyed. I never let you go astray. I never thought I'd see the day that you would come and just betray me. Sick of playing silly games, you never loved me anyway. You should not have let me get away, cause now I'm looking for my prey. I'm bigger, I'm better, my mind is a weapon. I won't ever let up. You try to break me down and I'ma just get up. They ask me how I did it, I'ma just tell them I rose up. Survivor. Fight for my life. Coming back stronger. I will arise. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life. Coming back stronger. I will arise. Staring at you from afar, analyzing every scar. Asking myself how we got here. Remember, this is who we are. I am not here for revenge. I did not come to make amends. Not here to repent for my sins. I just came here to win. I just came here to end. I just came here to fight. Show you everything you said I couldn't be. I became overnight. This for the blood, this is for the tears. This is for my pain and my plight. Two walked in, but only one of us is walking out of here tonight. I'm a survivor. For my life, coming back stronger. I will arise. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life, coming back stronger. I will arise.
Good evening and welcome to Wednesday Night Motorsport at the ANZ ESeries. Gonna be a cracker tonight. Formula Fords at Phillip Island, round 5 of 6 of the inaugural ANZ ESeries Formula Ford Championship. Got a half decent field, 11 drivers out on track at the moment. And I've got a half decent commentator alongside me who goes by the name of Mitchell Patterson.
Well, together we make an adequate commentator, I think.
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair comment.
You've got a half-decent commentator and another half-decent commentator. I mean, you do the maths, and that's one commentator. Of
exactly.
adequate abilities.
At the very least, you've got a excuse because you also have to do the broadcast behind the scenes. I have no excuse for being half-decent. I should be at least three-quarters decent, one would imagine.
Does that mean our combined skill is good?
Well, what does 1.25 half-decent commentators... If a half-decent commentator is half as good as a full-tilt commentator, then 1.25 half-decent commentators would be 0.625 properly good commentators.
Well, I would think a great commentator would be as good as 2 commentators.
So where would you put, like...
A great commentator is 2, a good commentator is, I don't know, like 1.2, 1.5? And then an adequate is just like 1, right? 1.0?
You know what? The maths is getting far too complicated for me. I've had enough of that at work today. Thank you very much. I was just watching one of the drivers, not sure which driver. They're all running the Vermilion livery out into the gravel. It's Joshua Horton out into the gravel there. There was 3 cars on track, so I dare say they would have been getting each other's way, probably just practicing a bit of side-by-side, and expect plenty of side-by-side around this track. Lots of long corners where you really can just get up alongside the other car on the outside or the inside and have a half a chance of making a move stick. That's what makes this track so special. You do not, particularly in the slower cars, it's really hard to defend because you can defend inside, you can defend outside. The other car can often make it work. So look for some quite unique overtakes tonight.
And I've told all the boys that they need to be on pace tonight, or at least one of them needs to be on pace tonight, so we can all get off to watch the Matildas game as well.
Yeah, we will be clashing with the Matildas for race 3 tonight. Will be interesting to see if any of the drivers drop off after race 2. And I'm just going to be upfront and say I'm going to have that on the background while I'm commentating race 3. So there will be full spoilers.
No, this is perfect. Yeah, you can commentate on the Matildas game at the same time then.
Yeah, there will be full spoilers for the Matildas game. I won't give too much away, but it'll be hard to stay quiet if there is a goal for either side. So full spoiler alert. If you're planning on watching race 3, there may very well be Matilda spoilers in race 3. Until then, we can focus fully on the Formula Fords, which is what all of these drivers are going to be doing. And the driver with the most focus at the moment is Sean Doyle, top of the standings. And you know what? He sort of made that spot his own in the Formula Fords. He's been absolutely stunning all season long.
Yeah, he's been great. He was like the most consistent driver in Formula Fords a fortnight ago too. Like, the guy was on it.
Yeah, he absolutely was. Ben Miles has been a constant competitor with him. We've seen Brody Shepherd get up there every so often. He's on track. Can't quite make out where he is on the standings. I think that's him in 5th place. But of course, that was practice. Practice doesn't mean anything, and we're about to go into qualifying, the first competitive session of the night. Of course, I hope you all know what qualifying is by now, but very quick rundown. Every driver, fastest lap, starts first. Second fastest lap, starts second, and we just go down, and that's how we set the starting order for the race.
You know, I've always had this weird thing with qualifying, particularly in things like Formula 1. You know what, like, we watch Formula 1 and we're like, there's not enough overtaking. But on Saturday, we do our very best effort to sort the grid out in order of fastest to slowest. And then we complain that no one overtakes on Sundays.
Yeah, it seems rather a bizarre problem to have, doesn't it? Let's line them all up by pace and then question why we don't get that many overtakes.
And then wonder where our overtakes are on the Sunday, right? It's like the most counterintuitive thing I've ever heard of.
It's utterly bizarre. But the thing is, if you try and suggest anything other than a legitimate grid via pace, people will say, "Oh, it's a gimmick," or you're handicapping the best drivers. Well, yeah, I guess
every other series does that in some form or another, like balance of power.
Oh, don't get me on with balance of performance. Balance of performance in Sims, yeah, absolutely. If you're in a GT3, I want all my GT3 cars to be pretty similar in a Sim. That's one place I'm kind of happy for Sims to diverge from the real world. However, in real life, it becomes such a political quagmire. I mean, look what happened with Le Mans. They have a rule that means you're not allowed to criticize the BOP. And then all of a sudden, Porsche, I can't remember what it was now. The team that had won their Toyota who'd won the Le Mans for like years and years, get absolutely screwed with the BOP. Ferrari suddenly find themselves at the front, and Toyota has no recourse basically.
Okay.
And
to be fair, Toyota kind of screwed themselves as well.
But like, if I'm in one of those teams, I'm going to my drivers and saying, "Hey, you know, we really want to win Le Mans this year. Just drive a bit crap for the first few races. We're going to turn the engine down. So we're then going to complain I would have enough performance, and then I would try and get the BOP changed for Le Mans. That's what I would do."
Real quick, are you seeing these YouTube comments right now?
I am not. Let me get up the YouTube. Why don't you read some out to me while I do that?
Ben Faulkner says, "Giga streamers, don't tell Aaron, but you and Liam are my favorite." I don't know.
Wow, that is shots fired.
Yeah.
Do you feel warm and gooey? I feel warm and gooey.
You know, I said to Ben when Ben jumped in here earlier, he was like, "Oh, what do you want?" I'm like, "Just a cuddle." And I feel like I just got Ben's cuddle just then. It's a nice warm feeling.
Do you think maybe he's just flirting with you?
I wouldn't blame him.
I mean, neither would I. I mean, you're a handsome guy, as we've covered before on the stream.
I don't remember that coming up in stream, if I'm being totally honest.
I'm pretty sure I commented on it last week. I'm pretty sure I made the same joke about you being a handsome guy. Sorry.
Oh, look, well, you should make
Did I
that.
say
You
joke?
should make that joke
Serious
every week.
comment. Yeah. If it makes you feel good, I'll do it every week. It'll become a standard part of the broadcast.
Yeah, you can just introduce me like that every Wednesday. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic.
And alongside me in the broadcast booth is the incredibly smart and handsome Mitchell Patterson.
More adjectives, please. More adjectives.
More adjectives, right? I'll see what list I can come up with for next week, and we'll debut it there. And I will not discuss it with you beforehand.
Oh, incredible! I'm really looking forward to see what new ones you can come up with every week. You're just gonna have the thesaurus up on one of your screens, and I don't want repeats week to week either.
Ben reminding us in the chat that he is only 17 and
Look,
is
that
hence
has
a
never
minor.
stopped
So
anyone from fangirling before.
yeah, you are gonna have to turn down any advances though, Mitch.
Oh yeah, of course.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be your kid. Almost.
I mean, yeah, I would have been a young father, but I mean, it's biologically, it's very possible. Like, I'm 33 years old.
So he'd be 16, which would be how old my nan was when she had my mom. So it definitely happens.
Yeah, there
you go. Random
happen.
family trivia.
I knew I went to school with some people that had kids when they absolutely shouldn't have. But I went to that kind of school, you know, so...
Yeah, it's
shout out to Lake Macquarie High.
If any of the minors, particularly the minors from Vermilion Motorsport, are listening, talk to your parents about how babies are made, because we will not be going into it in the stream.
Yeah, this is not that kind of stream. Subscribe to my OnlyFans.
As we watch Ben Miles going off track, maybe he was listening and started laughing too much to make the corner, you know, shaking the car around with his giggles. He's leading the way at the moment.
He just had a photo up of me on his second monitor and he got distracted.
Well, yeah, it would be distracting for anybody, wouldn't it? So interesting, we were talking about how good Sean Doyle's been this season. Only fourth at the moment in this session. Ben Miles in first, then Patterson in second, Milne in third, and Doyle down in fourth. And down in fourth sounds harsh, but given the quality he's had all season long, it's almost fair to say down in fourth.
Well, I was just brought up the practice results, and there's like 4/10 missing from Sean's pace. It's at 38.7 in
to be
practice,
fair,
so
yeah, and that's that seems to be pretty consistent with what we've seen in qualifying so far. Well, if anything, he's closed the gap down a lot. Actually, I take that back. What I said was absolute rubbish. Very, very close. Ben Miles 39.2, Scott Harvey 39.2, Sean Doyle 39. Can you guess it? 2. Then Patterson 39.4, Milne 39.4. That is a very close
tight
top
spread.
5.
That is a tight spread. Hang on, let me get this. Let me get this gap up so it looks a little better for people. So who's Scott Harvey? We haven't seen him before, have we?
A name doesn't ring a bell. If we have seen him before,
Yeah, let me pull
then
up
I
the
don't think he's been in
standings.
every race. Don't see him in there.
No, so these are our standings. I believe this is up to date as of today. So that means that Scott Harvey is a newcomer. So big shout out to Scott Harvey then. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. It is great to have you here. And with times like this, Scott, where the hell have you been?
Yeah, good question. Good question. And please stay. Where the hell have you been? And please stay. We've got some great racing over the next 3 weeks. Starting up tomorrow with Brands Hatch and the GR86s. Brands Hatch, phenomenal circuit. One of the best circuits in England, which is saying something because Britain's got a lot of fantastic circuits. And the GR86s should be superb around there. Then next week we return to the GT3s and the NASCAR heading to a super speedway, and that is the finale of both of those seasons. We then, in 2 weeks after this, we'll have the finale of the Formula Ford at, I believe, is Virginia, and then the finale of the GR86s, which is at... Oh, and I read this before the start
Daytona.
as well. And
It was
it's,
Daytona because we were talking about this. I'm gonna make my my ANZ ESeries debut at Daytona in the final race.
Yes, so definitely tune in to see that because that'll be worth seeing.
Oh, it's not going to be worth seeing at all. It'll be, you would watch me for the same reason you might watch clowns at a circus, or you would go to a comedy show because you feel like a laugh.
You know, if you beat me, my ego will never ever recover.
I
will
promise
be
you.
permanently scarred.
I promise you, I am Australia's slowest caster. I promise you. It's
Okay,
not
that's
there is no risk of that happening at all. There's a reason that I do what I do here, and I'm not on track right now.
setting the expectations very low for yourself, very low bar for you to meet. Scott
Harvey
is doing a very
you're gonna trip over it.
Scott Harvey going for quite a different approach to his debut in the ANZ ESeries Formula 4 Championship. Currently on pole position with a 1:38.8. Next best is a 1:39.1. So smashing the field at the moment in terms of qualifying pace for Formula Fords is Scott Harvey on his debut. So if you've set the bar so low you can trip over it, he set the bar so high that only tall people are going to need to duck.
So, Sean Doyle is currently in the pits, and he's the man that I'm looking to upset Scott Harvey here.
Yeah, he's been the pick of the field, but it has been close with the likes of Miles, Christensen, Shepard. They've all jumped up and given him trouble on occasions. It reminds me a bit of Marc Marquez's season in MotoGP. Must have been 3 seasons ago now, where he was in the top 2 every race, and it seemed like every race it was somebody else challenging him for the victory. Do you remember that season? Did you watch that season?
I did not watch that season. The last season of MotoGP I watched religiously was the last season that Valentino Rossi should have won his championship.
Oh,
I don't know if you remember
right.
know if you remember the 2015 season where Marquez and Rossi famously came together, resulting in like a back of the grid start for Rossi.
Yeah.
And what was essentially MotoGP's 2021 Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, it wasn't good times. It was very, very, very controversial, particularly because Rossi was so loved. Like, yeah. I wouldn't say it was quite... I don't know if I put it quite in Abu Dhabi 21 territory.
Oh, I reckon it is. I reckon it is. That was... Even if you agree that he was at fault for that, which is a controversial decision at best, the like starting last penalty was just the most harsh thing they could have given him.
Yeah, no. If there's one hill I'm willing to die on, it's that F1 stewards should be professionals.
I completely
and all motorsport stewards at the highest order should be professionals.
I have said this for years now, is that because they change the stewards at every race, so you never get consistency. There should be 3 stewards. 2 of them should be permanent, that travel with the circus, and 1 of them should be brought in for each track that they're on as a new one. So you've got 2 consistent ones, and then a rotating seat for each track.
See, I wouldn't even do that. I would have a pool of 5 or 6 that the 3 of them come from, and they do the entire season.
See, that's not a bad idea as well, because you definitely need some... You can't have just the 3 same people, because you can potentially end up with a bias towards or against individual races. But if you've got a more diverse pool of, say, 6 consistent people...
Yeah. Because you could have it so that you never have the same 3 at any race across the season. You could have it different each... I think 6 would be enough that you'd be able to have it different at each track. So you never get the exact same combination of 3. But, like, if you ever want to know if Lewis Hamilton's going to get a penalty, just check over Derek Rollrick's on the stewards panel.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Owns a Honda dealership. So,
Oh, so
and
he
this is the thing, like,
was he on the panel at Spa?
yeah, he was Spa, Brazil, in the 2021.
Yep.
In the part of making the decision. I think he was at can't remember where else he was at. They're two of the high profile ones. But yeah, there's a few, and there's a lot that have got Red Bull ties because there's a lot of like former Red Bull drivers that get called up and stuff. So it's and not just Red Bull. There's like they're all personalities from motorsport, so they all have allegiances. And whilst I'm sure most of them at the very least try not to let any biases show, you can't help it. It's human nature. Everybody's got unconscious biases, and if you had a positive side time at a former employer, you're probably going to go a little bit easy on them. It's just like natural. You just will.
Yeah, and in fact, there's studies out there that even being aware of your biases doesn't stop them from working.
No. Yeah. Yeah. And we've got a bias towards believing that Sean Doyle is going to be at the front, but I think our bias is misled us this time because he's currently only in 4th place on an out lap, and he's not going to get another lap in because we've only got 15 seconds left to qualifying
right now.
So Oliver is going to be. Looks like it's going to be Scott Harvey, Oliver Patterson, Christensen, Doyle, then Shepard, then Miles.
Yeah, they're already out of their cars. They're done.
And look how tight it is at the top. That is such a tight top 5, top 6. Oh my god, this is going to be spectacular. I can't wait for this. This is going to be so good. I'm sure the Matildas will hopefully be better than race 3. But for the first 2, nothing to compete against. That is going to be the best way to spend your Wednesday night. And for race 1, it is Scott Harvey on pole with Patterson alongside him.
That's
on the second row,
I believe's highest qualifying too.
I believe you may be right. Behind them is Christensen and Doyle on row 2. Then we've got Shepard and Miles on row 3. Row 4, Horton and Obersteller. And then we've got Milne and Hanmer rounding out the top 10. Behind them, Atkinson and Brunt, 2 latecomers to the session. And then Faulkner and Black showing up there, of course. Our safety car drivers for the evening. And we thank both of them very much for their work tonight in race control and in safety car. And of course, the way the safety car works is if any driver needs to have a tow for whatever reason, they cannot tow by themselves. They must get onto the blower to race control, ask for a tow, and then race control will put out the safety car unless there is not enough time for the race to be restarted, in which case they will give permission to tow without having a safety car. They won't change the rules just to get the race underway before the end. It's the key part of that. It is part of the rules from the very start.
So we're still just waiting on, I think, Oliver and Christensen to grid up.
Yeah, it seems that way. They'll also be getting read the right act.
Oh, that's true. The little briefing from our lovely race control and stewards.
Yes. And that takes a minute or two. So we usually do have a little bit of an awkward delay while we wait for the race to start. And the traditional question is, who are you looking at on that grid to cause an upset in race 1?
Oh, Aaron's going to cause an upset. Absolutely. He's going to crash. He's going to take a whole bunch of people out with him. There's going to be lots of people very upset.
You've misunderstood my question there. I feel like you perhaps done that slightly deliberately. But that was brilliant. That was a brilliant dad joke. I thoroughly enjoyed that. What you're saying is Joshua's got to be haunting all the other drivers?
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Stretch that pun on his Sene as far as I could.
Behind everyone else. Brody's going to be shepherding everyone around, you know?
Yeah. Continue on. What you got for Doyle?
The little doilies hanging off his windscreen wipers going to be float. Yeah, it's getting real loose at this point.
Yeah, that was
we're really reaching.
Yeah, I think we need to stop this. We need to stop this before the quality gets too low. If anything, it's already too late.
Yeah, we missed the.
I'm waiting for the comment from Ben to say we're no longer his favourites because we don't deserve to be after that.
Do we have? Okay, I thought we might have had some pit lane starters, but we don't. We don't. So who are you looking for big moves?
For big moves is often quite an aggressive driver, and we've seen he's had serious pace at times. He's fun to watch as well, and I'd also look at Shepherd. Shepherd's someone that can be right at the front, or he can have an absolute mare like he did at Willow Spring. And also just being a friend of mine. Allegiance is out there at the front biases. He's a friend, and they are all off. Scott Harvey getting a fantastic launch. Look at that. He's already miles ahead going into the first corner. He's got Sean Doyle behind him, Oberstella in third, Nick Burling in fourth. Is that right? No, I'm looking at the wrong screen. He got Miles in fourth, Shepherd in fifth. So it's Harvey, Doyle. Doyle already up to second from fourth. Going through the second corner now. Can he hold on to it? Is he on the inside or the outside? Looks like he's on the inside. He's got no one alongside him, so Doyle is safe. Patterson's got Christensen on the outside. He's just trying to hold it out there. Not quite managed to do it. If anything, he's going to come under pressure from Miles behind him. They're going to be side by side. Going into... Is this Honda or Miller? I always get the two of them confused. I can't remember which corner it is they named. I would think this is Honda. It's certainly been Honda in the past. So this is Doyle. He's taken the lead from Harvey already. Doyle from fourth into the lead. 3 corners in, and Harvey falling behind Patterson. Not sure what's happened to Harvey's pace. He looked pretty safe out front, but he's got absolutely mugged into Honda. Now going around what I believe is Miller corner. Patterson alongside Harvey. So that battle for second still very much live on the racetrack. They're going to be coming towards Lukey Heights. Is going to be the next overtaking opportunity, although it's going to be very, very brave to make a move stick there. Is possible in these nice narrow Formula 4s though, and Doyle is getting an absolute march on the pack. Here they come, 2 by 2 at the back of the pack. Some aggressive moves going on behind there. I think Horton's got past... No, Horton's started in front of Oberstella. Shepherd's not been able to make any progress. He's still in 6th place after having started there. And Doyle's been absolutely superb. Harvey's going to have to try and find his way back past Patterson. And Christian is defending for Miles.
Yeah, that's a good start by Sean. Fourth to first. I mean, we really had pace in practice. It didn't really come out in qualifying. I wonder if there's just a couple little mistakes he made, but he doesn't have a big lead on Oliver at the moment, or Scott for that instance. You know, we've only got a 1 second gap, less than 1 second gap separating the top 4, and we know Christensen's fast. We know Sean Doyle's fast. And Oliver is normally a pretty quick little fella, but he's not normally a front runner, so this is really good to see from him.
It is really good to see, and I just want to cut out, it looks like David Milnes had some trouble on lap 1. He's well behind the field. I think he's in pit lane, and then it looks like Gerard might have been a late comer to the session and has not got out on track. So not sure what happened to David Milne there. Don't know if we've got any hope of finding a replay and double checking whether he actually took the start of the field. Something's happened to Burling as well. He's already 22.7 seconds off the back of the field, so I think he's come and stuck somewhere. Looks like Milne may have had an issue at turn 4. He seems to be stopped according to my driver tracker, so if that is accurate, that's interesting because that could very well be a safety car if he needs to tow.
Ooh,
and
that does
he is not moving.
That looks pretty bad.
It does, doesn't it? It's not moving, and that's bad. It's also missing its front wing.
Yes, it definitely is. That looks terminal to me. I would be expecting a safety car here, I think.
And I tell you what, Doyle might not mind a safety car because he's got Patterson right behind him. Patterson also having a fabulous start, and he is putting all the pressure into turn 1 behind them. Harvey is defending from Christensen. Christensen's going to have the inside, but if you can hold it on around the outside of turn 1, you will have the optimal line for Southern Loop. Don't crucify me if that's wrong. It's corner 2. And then we've got Sean Doyle. Yeah, he's got the inside line. He's going to be able to make that stick. And that's Patterson going around all the way around the outside of Harvey. Much further distance to run and not that much grip.
Getting pushed out wide like that, he went from 1st to 4th in 2 corners. And it might even be going even worse for him right now. Yeah,
and that's a change for the lead of the race. Christensen's ahead of Doyle at the lead of the race. Takes the lead for the first time.
Miles off
Harvey,
track too.
Who went miles off track?
Ben Miles.
Ben Miles. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, that's a crash. That's a crash in the background there. I believe that is Hanma and Horton.
Alton, yes.
So 2 of the Vermilion drivers coming together there. Let's have a look at what happened. So quite late in the corner for there to be an incident. Looks like the 2 cars just getting tied together. Are we able to see an onboard for that?
Oh yeah. I think we can pull that up.
And that's another driver off the track there. So that was Miles going off in the background. Let's see what's happened. So he's carrying in more pace and just hits the car behind him, and then
gets collected.
So who's
basically.
this? Yeah, it gets collected.
That's Alton's view.
So that's all on Houghton then, just carrying in more speed. So he's taking the corner better, but nowhere to go, nowhere to use the momentum. Instead of getting out of it, just sort of lazily nudge the car ahead. Can be really hard to break and slow yourself down in that situation. But yeah, just going into the car ahead, upsetting himself and getting collected. So I just feel sorry for the car behind him. That would have been an innocent bystander in that. But no innocent bystanders in this top 5. They are all going hammer and tongs at each other. No friends are going to be made here. It is Doyle back in the lead of this race. Patterson in second. He's got Christensen, who's got past Harvey, as has Shepherd. And Shepherd's in this lead battle. So we've got Doyle, Patterson, Christensen, Shepherd, and Harvey actually dropping back a little. So that qualifying pace not really translating into great race pace here. There he is in the blue and black car at the back of that shot. We've got a bunch of Vermilion cars towards the front of this race, but not Doyle. Doyle in that gold livery is absolutely driving the wheels off the thing.
He's starting to build up a little bit of a gap here, isn't he? It's not huge. He's not got, we're certainly not talking about being outside of the toe yet, but they're not sort of 2 or 1/10 right on his tail anymore. Which in these Fords is, you can follow real close to cars in front of you, so.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not comfortable, but he's also not under imminent attack, which is not bad.
Well, that's changing right now. That's changing right now. Oliver is having a little bit of a look up the inside. Not going to make a move here yet. A little bit of a dangerous spot to overtake, especially from, I say that far back, but 1/10 in these Formula Fords is pretty big. It's bigger than than GTs or other formulas with downforce. Oh, who's that off track in the background? Was that Christensen?
Yeah, it looks like it was Christensen. I can see the distance he is behind Doyle just growing massively. So I think he may have been right. It looks like he's perhaps got back on track now.
I think something just happened to Matthew Brunt as well.
Yeah, I can see Matthew Brunt. He's
just
sliding back
as well. Let's have a look.
So Matthew Brunt, number 134.
So we're on board with Matthew Brunt now. A little bit of an awkward line there, just to touch a glass on that rear tyre. Yeah. So it looks like he'll be able to recover that though.
Yeah, it didn't really want to keep it out of the wall
but he's not hit anything, so.
And of course, because we do actually have more than 10 drivers in the field, you're not guaranteed a reverse grid spot. And right now, Brunt in 11th, so he would miss out, although he is only 3.7 seconds off the back of David Atkinson, so that is a live battle for reverse grid pole. Atkinson, one of the stalwarts, I would say, of the ANZ ESeries, shows up a lot in the ANZ ESeries, and very thankful to have you, Atkinson, if you are listening. However, at the front, we've got Patterson and Shepherd doing battle.
Yeah, definitely.
Shepherd now into second place.
And one thing we will say is a big shout out to Shane Patterson, who I believe is Oliver Patterson's father, in chat. It's great to have you with us, and it looks like Oliver is putting on a stellar performance for us tonight. We normally see him doing pretty well, but we don't always see him right up the front. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for a podium for him, Shane.
Yeah, it's been an interesting race for him because he started around 5th position, I believe, then made his way up to being in the lead at one point and is now back down to 3rd. Shepard's had a very good race as well. He started in 5th or 6th place and is up into 2nd place. Very, very consistent though. He's not someone that's been up and down. He's just been up the whole way through. Harvey's the strange one. He's 13.3 seconds off the lead now, so it looks like he's got 1 lap pace, but perhaps lacking a little bit of consistency. I'd have to look at his lap times in detail to figure out whether he's consistently losing pace or whether he's just making mistakes on odd laps and just can't string it together over a race. So he might come strong in race 2 or 3 with a few more laps under his belt, so he's definitely one to watch, but at the moment we cannot take our eyes away from Doyle, Shepherd and Patterson. All looks like the 3 podium positions are pretty much wrapped up, barring an incident, but we got 10 minutes left and I cannot call an order for this top 3.
I got to give it to Sean just as for P1, just based on like previous performance. We know Sean can lead, and we know that he can drive a clean series, like a faultless series. As we say, this Brody Shepherd looking up the inside here, going into this is turn 1.
Yeah, I had to scrub off too much speed. He's a very clean racer, is Brody, so he would have scrubbed off like more speed than you actually need to make a move up the inside there, just to be sure he wasn't going to run wide and hit Doyle. But that's why a move into turn 1's not going to work. You have to be so on the limit if you're going to make a move, because you have to scrub off so little speed and really run it all the way out to just leaving a car's width on the outside and trust that the car on the outside is going to do the same. So if you cannot race like that, if it's not in your DNA, you're not going to make an overtake. You need to make an overtake into Honda, into Miller, into one of these hairpins, or perhaps coming out of Southern Loop through that tricky little complex. If you can get that right and get a better run onto the final straight, you can get the overtake done before turn 1.
You know, I was about to ask you where you thought the best overtaking opportunities were in these cars on this track, but you've taken you've taken my follow-up question already. So I don't know whether or not to thank you or be a little bit disgruntled.
Or take it as absolute undeniable proof of my ability to read minds from a distance.
You know what? We're in our is this our 8th week together?
Yes, 8th week.
Maybe we're just getting inside of each other's heads now.
I mean, that's a disturbing thought. You do not want me inside your head, but yeah, I'd say it's been a pleasurable 8 weeks. It's always fun having a new commentating partner. You never quite know if you're gonna gel, but I have to say, I think we gel very well. And was that a lot of sparks just appearing on our screen?
Yeah, that was a
absolutely
big desync, and as that happened, old Oliver here moved himself up into 2nd place.
Yeah, so he's alongside Shepherd right now. Less than 4 meters separating the two of them, and I think Shepherd's got the inside into Miller. Is that Doyle? No, he's held it. Looked like Doyle had a bit of oversteer mid-corner there. I thought he might be going for a wee spin, but he's held onto it. And hasn't even lost that much pace, but he has got Shepherd right behind him.
Yeah, so it's Sean that makes the mistake, but Ollie pays the price. There's Brody picking up a cheeky little spot there. So Sean's still leading, and just Shepherd and Oliver trading places here.
Yeah, they're going to have to make a move in Doyle at some point, aren't they? And it just looks like Doyle knows they're getting covered. See how he's taking that tighter line into this corner here, really getting out into the middle of the road to say, you're not going to get me through this dip. You can't get me on the inside. I'm defending that. I'm alive to it. You can't go around the outside. What it does do is it can compromise you coming out of the corner, but neither Shepherd or Patterson looks to be able to get a proper run out of him out of that. Shepherd does get a better launch, but it's only ever enough to put him alongside into corner 1, and Doyle's just so confident going through there. And as I say that, Shepherd completely proves me wrong by diving straight into the lead of the race, and Patterson's on the inside of Doyle. Oh, that was going to be tight. Looks like they both got through, though.
I was worried for Oliver then.
As you should be.
Yeah, but Brody takes the lead for the first time since the start of this race, and Sean now in 2nd. I don't think this is too bad for Sean. I think he'll be pretty comfortable here.
Been a superb performance, and you do get quite a bit of slipstream opportunities around this track, it's quite easy to attack, as we are seeing here. Launches a move down into Honda, gets it done. So that's
I'm just going to quickly
Doyle
cut
didn't
over
like being
to
second.
Aaron Obersteller and Jamie Christensen, because these guys are within a tenth of each other at the moment. We still keep an eye out for the battle for the first, down the bottom right-hand corner, so if we see any position changes, we'll be able to cut back to that. But just for right now, let's have a look at this battle between Aaron and Christensen. So Obersteller has been a bit of a wild card for me this season, both in GT3 and in Formula Ford, where he seems to be capable of nabbing a podium, but also, depending on the track, you know, he's sort of comfortably in the mid pack. And that seems to be sort of where he is today, but I think he more relies on like the reverse grids to sort of get a cheeky podium here. But you know, Christensen's fast, and right now Aaron Obersteller is right up his tuckus.
He is right up his tuckus, and you know what? He's a wild card on the track, and he's a wild card in commentary as well. You never quite know what Obersteller's gonna say. He comes up with some absolute howling one-liners that have had me pretty much in stitches, either alongside him or listening to his broadcasts on a Thursday night that he puts on with the fantastic Connor Nixon. But he also drops some absolute clangers. So yeah, it's very similar on the racetrack. I have to say though, I can't speak too much because he's better than me. So I kind of need to earn more of a license before I rib him too hard. I will say that his ability to pick out accents is awful though. God awful. And he's also not doing enough to get past Christensen here, only in 6th position, and that's with a couple of retirements.
Aaron
He'd probably be hoping for more than that. Yeah, he does look
faster than you know. It could just be that the toe is making him look a little better than we expect, but he's all over. He's just all over Christensen through these corners, in my opinion.
Yeah, he is. I do think a little bit that is the toe, but also it might indicate that he's perhaps not confident enough in wheel-to-wheel to really put a move on and get past. I do wonder if that will change before the end of this race. And I did slides better of it there. Go on, launch a move over Stella.
Oh,
also,
it's so early. It's so early, right? To make dives.
It is. Is that sorry, that livery? I've got a very blurry stream for those of you that don't know. I don't see the same stream that you do at home.
Hornet.
It is a Hornet because my
that's the
my
move. That's it.
That's
Has
it.
he got
That's
this?
it. I think Hazard is going to be on the outside going into turn 1. Can't tell from that
Oh, it's
angle.
so hard
He's got
to
the lead.
tell.
I
They're
think
neck
no, he
and
hasn't
neck.
got it.
Christensen's just ahead.
And he's got the inside line. Christensen should get it done here. Obersteller's going to try and hang it around the outside. The Hornet's going to go for the sting. Can he do it? No. No, Hornet backs away. Pitnick's not tasty enough for him to go on a suicide mission.
Now, we have seen a couple of lead changes as well, while Shepard and Doyle have swapped at least 3 times while we've been watching this battle too.
Okay, let's get to them. That's enough Obersteller for this evening. If you want more Obersteller, come back later.
Tomorrow night.
Or come back tomorrow night.
Oh, we just missed. He just made a move. He literally made a move as we went away.
You know what? That serves him right for all his drives. We deliberately cut away when you were coming into the move. It was a deliberate ploy. He'll love that when he watches it back. All right, back to the front. Unless he's about to get overtaken, in which case we can definitely show that. Well, we've got Shepard in 2nd place, Doyle in 1st, Patterson in 3rd. You would be forgiven for thinking not much has happened since we left these guys, but I think there has been quite a few changes for the lead. And we're definitely going to stick with them for the last couple of laps so we could bring you all the move changes before the finale of the first of our 3 heat races. So it is Doyle in 1st in the gold car, then Shepard in 2nd, the lead Vermilion car, then Patterson in 3rd. I think we should ban the Vermilion liveries for next season. There's far too many of them out there. And other 2 Vermilion cars both going to get ahead of Doyle. Shepard's certainly going to get ahead. Patterson just can't quite get close enough, can he?
Livery is Fred Flintstone, and it's set up in such a way that it looks like it's Fred Flintstone driving the car.
That's excellent. I have no help of making it out because of my my blurry my blurry stream, but I can see that they are side by side. It's going to be Shepard on the outside, going into Honda. Doyle's going to have the inside. I think Shepard's going to be slightly ahead on entry, but Doyle probably made that up in the brakes. They get very close to contact. I think Shepard kind of wanted to go for the cutback, but just didn't have the space there. And that's actually put Patterson alongside Shepard. Shepard's going to have the inside for Miller, though. Is he going to get it done? I think he's got the position back from Patterson / defended it.
Is it actually worth trying to hang around the outside there, or does it just compromise you too much, do you think?
I think you can do it, but you need to be ahead going into the corner. You need to be sort of half a car ahead, then have that become half a car behind on the exit, and then you can sort of compromise them enough that they kind of have to fall in line before they get to Lukey Heights.
Also, I've just received word that David Milne actually dislocated his fingers on lap 1, and that's why he is out right now. So this will be our first medical retirement of the season.
And ouch. Ouch. Dislocating. How's he done that? What wheel is he running? How is he holding it? Milne, if you're listening, can we have answers, please? I would love a detailed rundown of how you... You know what? Maybe this is a bit much to ask, but a detailed rundown of how you ended up in what I assume is agonizing pain would be great if you're up for it. He
might not be able to type right now.
Otherwise, all the greatest sympathies from both of us in the commentary box. Even though it might not sound like it, great sympathies. I hope you are okay and it didn't hurt that much. And that's that was a car pointing the wrong direction, almost interfering with the lead battle. Not sure who that is. Might have been Christensen.
I want to say Berling.
And what's happened? Because of Brody Shepard. Something's happened because Brody Shepard's pulling. Look at how much Shepard's got lead on.
The
race is over. The race is over. The race is over. Ugh, that's what it is. Right, completely missed that. I thought it was another lap. So
it was just such an exciting race. You didn't realize it was over.
So Doyle brings it home in first place. Shepard in second, and Patterson the final spot on the podium.
Let's have a look at the Alpha standings here.
I just wasn't ready for it to end.
So
there we go.
You know, if you're Shane and Ollie Patterson right now, I think you're pretty psyched with the podium.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Given where they started, they would not have been expecting that. Sean Doyle absolutely would not have been expecting the win, even though he has been very strong. It did look like this might be a little bit of a bogey track, given the positions in qualifying, but absolutely bringing the fire in the race. Brilliant performance. Shepard and Patterson, the only ones that could go anywhere near his pace, and the pole position winner Scott Harvey just not able to stay with him. Must have been a few mistakes or damage or something, because I can't imagine that was just pure pace that led him to be so far down. Interestingly, going to have a very different starting grid for grid 2. Atkinson, I believe, will be on pole position. Correct me if I'm wrong. With Harvey alongside him. Did Harvey finish 9th in the end?
You know what? I missed it.
No, it can't be. I think there's going to be someone slotting in between Atkinson and Harvey.
So we've got Atkinson, Alton, Hanma, Harvey, Oberstella, Christensen, Miles, Patterson, Shepard, Doyle, Berling, Gerard, Brunt.
And Milne, who with the dislocated fingers. Is Milne taking the grid? Surely Milne's not taking the grid.
No way.
Oh dear. Alright, well, big props to you, Milne. Good luck. Going to be cheering for you this race. But we're going to have to call it at the front. Horton is in the lead. He's got Atkinson around the outside. Who's going to have the biggest balls going into turn 1? It's going to be Horton. Horton takes the lead from Atkinson in the battery power entry. He's coming under pressure from Hanmar, Christensen. Oh, Hanmar's off. Hanmar and Christensen are off. Oh, it's Oberstella. Oberstella's off as well. So Oberstella, Hanmar and Christensen have fallen to the back of the pack. It's Horton at the front. Atkinson still in second place. Harvey's challenging him for that position. Then you've got Miles Doyle already up to 5th place after starting in 10th. Patterson in 6th. Shepard in 6th now.
Oh,
Shepard and Brunt changing position.
That's 3.
Oh, who's that?
4 more.
That's Harvey.
Crash. Oh my god.
Chaos. Chaos. Horton in the lead. Miles in 2nd. Atkinson 3rd. Gerard 4th. Patterson somehow got through. He's in 5th. Milne's in 6th. Burling is in 7th. Then Doyle, Shepard, Christensen, Oberstella, Hammer, Brunt, and Harvey have all been involved in lap 1 incidents.
Okay, let's try and bring some of this. Okay, so this is the Oberstella Christensen Brunt incident. So that's Christensen, Brunt, and I don't know where Oberstella was in that. Okay, this is we're watching Oberstella now in the Hornet livery, big yellow one.
Oh, so he just gets on the grass by himself.
Just a sympathy spin. Just a sympathy spin.
And then what happened to Shepard and Doyle?
Okay, let's have a look at... so this is a big one. It involves Harvey, Shepard, Doyle, Burling, Brunt.
And we have a safety car. We do have a safety car out on track.
Okay, so we're looking at this one now, focused on Doyle.
So who's that in the American fighter pilot livery?
Good question.
Because it looks like they go back into the... It looks like when they went into the Doyle. Could be... No, it's not Burling. Burling continued on, so I would be surprised if it was Burling. So Burling's just gone deep by himself, but has come off better than just about everybody else in that corner. Despite missing the corner.
Let's have a look at Doyle. We'll jump on board with Doyle here.
So Doyle's going to get tapped up the rear end, I believe.
Little bit of a love tap from, I want to say, Shepard.
I don't know if it's a love tap so much an absolute pounding, but here we go as a Shepard.
Oh!
No, who's that on the inside?
Not Brunt.
It is. It is Brunt. Brunt force trauma strikes again. Way too deep on the brake. Never gonna work.
That's got to be a penalty, right?
Yeah, that's about as clear-cut a penalty as it gets. Sorry, Brunt. You can get caught out with the domino effect, of course, on lap 1.
Yeah, you mean the Concertina.
The Constantino effect, yeah. But Brunt's a seasoned enough driver to be aware of that, and that was so very late. Could have been a hardware malfunction. Perhaps his brake's not working properly or something like that. But yeah, anything short of that, and I think there's a definite penalty coming Brunt's way, inflicting brunt force trauma on far too many of the key drivers in this race. But thankfully, we have got a safety car, which brings everybody back into it. So after all that chaos, I think Atkinson's probably not happy about the safety car. He might have been on for a genuine podium there, after being one of the drivers who's generally towards the back of the field. Definitely a what should we call it? A development driver. Had some flashes of pace, but just not enough to run towards the front of the grid. But the more he gets exposed to positions like this, running in third place, particularly in these reverse grid races, he's going to learn so much from the drivers around him. So I really hope he can move forward with the ANZ ESeries. Hopefully, as we start getting more drivers over the next few seasons, we'll see Atkinson stick around and just gradually move up the order as he improves and learns from what is a very, very, very strong field. I cannot overstate how strong this field is.
So let's have a look at the big winners and losers out of all of this. So Alton up 1, Miles up 5, Atkinson down 2, Gerard up 8, Patterson up 3, Milne up 8, Burling 4, Sean up 2, which is interesting because Sean was actually involved in one of those crashes, so somehow it's ended up as a net positive for him. Harvey down 5, Shepard down 1, Christensen down 5, Brunt up 1, poor Mr. Oberstella down 8, and Tyson Hammer, the biggest loser out of all of this, down 11 places.
Yeah, he's been absolutely hammered by by those opening exchanges.
Now who's doing it?
Yeah, well, you've got to fire back at some point. And just to let you know, the Australia-England game has kicked off. There will be full spoilers from here on in. If you are wanting to avoid spoilers, just maybe stop watching here, or I don't know. It's your own fault for racing or watching this when you could have been watching Matildas. So yeah, full spoilers from here on in.
Wait, I think I just Oh, nope, never mind. So we've got our safety control, Orlando Black, leading us at the moment, and I would imagine we'd be expecting him to go in this lap because it looks like we've got everybody.
Yeah, I believe so. The whole pack is bunched up again. Everybody who's wanted to go into the pits has been able to get their cars repaired. Hanma sat at the back with the fastest lap, which is rather amusing, which just shows you we haven't had a full racing lap from anything other than a standing start yet. And just to run you through the grid, you can see it on your screen. Horton, Mars, Atkinson, Gerard, Patterson, Milne, Burling, Doyle, Harvey, Shepard, Christensen, Brunt, Obersteller, and Hanmar. So of those leading trio from race 1, Patterson is best placed in 5th place. His goal is going to be to make moves early, get ahead, try and build a gap before Doyle and Shepard get through, because if they get through within slipstream range, you're going to have another freeway battle, because the pace of these three was so close in race 1, and it could be absolutely spectacular watching them weave their way through and then do battle themselves. And it's going to be Horton who's going to lead the pack away. He has now effectively become the safety car. He will decide when to put the power down and get racing underway.
Are you going to leave it to the last minute here, do you think, or is he going to shoot off out of the corner?
I think you leave it for the last minute. You can get quite a good tow going into that first corner. So unless you spot the car behind braking a little bit, like you notice they're coming right close to you and have to brake. And you know what? He's done a very good job. Got a really good jump there. Has Horton already 0.3 of a second ahead of Miles, who is 0.8 ahead of Atkinson. So Atkinson really not on the ball there with the start. And that's put a gap between Horton, Miles, and the rest of the field already. So if Horton and Miles can keep it clean, their odds of being on the podium in this motor race have absolutely skyrocketed. And part of that full wide is Patterson. He's already up into 4th place. 3rd place. Made that 3rd. That is
involving
a crash.
Obersteller. That looks like
oh god, that's not the. That's not. Cars aren't meant to cartwheel, and I think there might have been Shepard cartwheeling across the track. So definitely a big collision there into turn 1.
Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Let's break this down. Okay, we're gonna have a look at. Let's start with Mr. Hanma.
So let's look what's going on here. Going 4 wide in the first corner, that is not a good idea, fellas. And they just collect each other coming in. And then there's another crash there. Not sure who that silver liveried car is. Looked like Brunt was involved as well. And it looked like that. Was that Burling? Might have been Burling and Shepard making contact there originally. We're going to have to get on board from one of those.
This is Christensen.
So Christensen's on the inside. 1-to-1 doesn't go.
Alright, so Christensen's the cartwheeler. And you think it was Burling that may have initially caused...
Let's have a look. I think he's quite sandwiched. He's always got cars on his inside and his outside here. No, it's that car there that's going to cross him, I would say. I think it's a case of just the 4 cars not realising they're in a 4-car wide situation.
Well,
and we have got
someone's tyre there. I don't know whose that was.
It might have been Brody Shepard's. He was definitely one of the worst affected in all of that.
Okay, now we're going to have a look at this from Blunt's onboard.
So he's quite straight there, quite straight on the inside.
55.
He gets caught up in that.
Which is Shepard. That's Brody Shepard.
So this is Brody Shepard we're watching now.
Yeah, Brody Shepard's on board. So we've got 3. He's kind of sandwiched in here.
He's just started to turn in before.
It looked like he may even have copped it from the outside there. I'll tell you what, I would hate to be the stewards trying to work that one out.
Yeah, gonna have to take plenty of time over that one. I dare say they're gonna get a bit of time though. And I think we've got some drivers actually just out of this motor race. They all haven't got a fast repair left. They'll have to get regular repairs. So if any of these drivers have had terminal damage, they're not getting back out there. And it's Obersteller, Christensen. Obersteller's back out. Burling's back out. I think it looks like Christian, Shepard, and Brunt may very well be out of this race, having been caught up in 2 incidents already.
Well, some drivers are not going to have fast repairs anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Christensen, Shepard, and Brunt may be those drivers.
I'll tell you what, I would hate to be the stewards in this race. I still haven't seen anything about that first incident on from race control.
No, neither have I. Although saying that, I just realised the chat isn't actually up. So getting it back up. No, nothing on our screen so far, and no DM either. So no
Let's see if we
penalties
can,
as far
if
as
we
we know
can-
for that first incident.
If we can get the inside scoop.
And those cars in the pit lane, Atkinson, Christian, Shepherd, Brunt, they are running out of time if they want to get back out on the lead lap. The safety car is now coming round to the final corner. If they do not get going now, they will go a lap down and effectively be out of this motor race. So it looks like we're going to be losing at least one of the fastest drivers in this field, being Brody Shepherd, one of our podium sitters of race 1, who will, of course, have an opportunity to fix that in race 3. Assuming he sticks around for that another 7 minutes and 40 something seconds of this race to go.
I'm seeing 4 drivers out now. As we're passing the pits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's 4.
Atkinson, Christensen, Shepherd, and Brunt.
So this looks. If your first name starts with O and your last name ends with N, you're looking pretty good right now, I think. Mr. Oliver Patterson?
Yeah, he is. He's got Shepherd's out of the race. Doyle 2 places behind him. Gerard, Miles, and Horton ahead of him. And there's not going to be that long left once they get going
Oliver
again.
has looked racy tonight too.
He has. Safety car's doing another lap, so that will wipe off another minute and a half to 2 minutes out of this motor race. So they're going to have about 5 minutes to go once we get started, assuming they get started on this lap. And car 61 has just left pit lane, and that's David Atkinson.
So he's going to be 2 laps down by the time he gets back out on track, I think. I mean, surely we're not going to lap the safety car until Atkinson unlaps himself. That would take pretty much all of the time we've got left.
They might just leave him at the back of the field.
Yeah, he might just finish off the lead lap, I think.
Yeah, I think that would be the sensible way to go about it.
And Christensen has just jumped in chat. He says, too much damage for me, Brody, and Matt, that's a big shame. That's a big shame.
That is a big shame. That's a significant portion of the field. Some of the fastest drivers, some of the racist drivers. That's a horrendous foul on the Matilda there, and that's going to be a card for an English person. Yeah, they've already put in a couple of fouls on Kerr, so they definitely feel threatened by her, which is good to see. Love seeing the English feeling threatened by an Australian.
Oh, and Kerr's actually out, is she? I thought they were going to keep her on the bench. That's one of the things that I'd heard.
No, she's started, and she's just been the victim of a horrendous slide tackle.
Dirty.
Thankfully, Greenwood getting a yellow card for that challenge.
Alright, it looks like Orlando Black's being called in now, so he's going to take the safety car around, do his little hot lap, and it's all on Alton to lead.
Yeah, there was a bit of a fight for who was going to get to drive the safety cars earlier on, when we saw how delicious that livery was, and boy, isn't the epoxy resin livery just spectacular on that safety car.
You can't see me making like the chef's kiss sign right now, but that's exactly what I'm doing.
Did you do the noise? Because I think I heard it.
Yeah, I did do the noise.
It's good to confirm I'm not hearing things. Horton will be hearing things, though. He'll be hearing the engine of Ben Miles right behind him, because he is so close. If somebody told you those two cars are actually one 8-wheeler, you'd probably believe them, because there's no space between the two of them. Horton's going to lead them away. Miles in second. Horton puts the power down, gets a really good run on Miles. Miles has got Gerald right behind him, then Patterson, Milne, Doyle, Harvey, Hanmer, Orbistella, and Burlington in this race, having lost three of our field with Atkinson being over a lap down and at the back of the pack. So Horton goes into turn 1. There's a couple of fighting back there. I believe that's Hanmar and Harvey going wheel to wheel. This is Sean Doyle in the middle of your screen right now. He's got Oliver Patterson ahead of him. So Doyle already making positions and getting right behind his rival from race 1. So the battle continues on. Will only be the two of them this time. Shepard, one of the early casualties, and somebody's got to slow down there. Who was that pulling over?
Ooh,
It looked like one of the Vermilion. Looked like one of the Vermilion cars. Car number 15, Nick Burling, has fallen off the back of the pack. 9.3 seconds behind the leader, which is Horton already. Sean Doyle, not as close to Patterson as I thought. Who's that off the track?
Alton.
That's Houghton. So Houghton from the lead of the race.
Horton? Someone chime in here. But yeah, he's just spun from the lead, I think.
So we've got Ben Miles now in the lead. Gerard behind him. Patterson in third. Doyle in fourth. Patterson already finding his way back to the podium positions.
So we're on board with Alton now. So we'll see what's happened to him.
So just coming in, just too much speed. Tries to get it turned in again. Gets another snap of oversteer.
That's your classic V.
Yeah.
Oversteer there, isn't it?
Classic rear-engined car with no wings. Very little downforce. That's what's going to happen. Low-level open-wheeler's going to spin. That's David Atkinson with Horton behind him. Horton, of course, is a lap up on Atkinson, so Atkinson will let him through when he can. This is Miles at the head of the field with Gerard right behind him and Patterson and Doyle doing battle for third and fourth place. Only a couple of laps left. That's really wide from Gerard. Had to really get out of it, and that's put Patterson right onto his gearbox. And then behind them, this is a battle pack with Harvey, Hanma, and Milne. Milne at the back of that in the silver and red car.
Yeah, I think we just saw a little bit of a mistake from Milne. And I think we just watched him drop about 2 places. Oh, that's a crash. Who's that on the left?
Oh, and that's a bigger mistake from Harvey. Harvey finding the inside of the grass there. And he'll rejoin, but he'll be out of the important positions in this race. That's Doyle getting overtaken? No, getting past Gerard. So that's Doyle into second place, and that's miles ahead of him. So Doyle now looking at the lead of this race. He's got the leader right ahead of him. That's Patterson we're watching now. So he's a Vermilion car at the back of that. He's looking at Gerard ahead of him in the yellow and black car. Then in the gold car is Sean Doyle. Ahead of them in the Vermilion car is Ben Miles. So Patterson losing out a bit there. I wonder if he made a bit of a mistake. Really wide entry there from Gerard. I think Patterson was just looking to see where he could get up the outside. Perhaps thought Patterson was carrying a bit too much speed, but he just turned in really sharp, really late, got in front of Patterson.
I was actually expecting Oliver might have had an opportunity there, but it just... I saw it happening, but it just didn't eventuate.
Yeah, it didn't eventuate. I think it was one of those seeming lines.
Gerard was offline, but...
No, just really wanting to get the best cut back and get as much speed as he could onto this straight so he could try and attack the cars ahead of him. Obviously just figured he had enough of a gap to Patterson behind to do that safely, and you know what, he was right
Sean in the lead for now, though he is going to have to try and hang it around the outside. A little bit sketchy there by him, actually. A little bit of oversteer. It's going to cost him
Gerard.
First and
Gerard's
second
going to come
place.
back on him. No, they're going to be alongside each other going into Honda.
Oliver's just boxed in here at the moment.
And look at Gerard. Gerard's in the lead of this race. Gerard and Miles were side by side going into Honda. Gerard on the outside, Miles on the inside. Gerard hanging on around the outside. That's let Doyle back through. So Doyle's now in second place. Gerard in third. Patterson looking to get the switch back on Gerard. Gerard just defends the inside, and he's going to comfortably hold on to that as they head on the road down to the Lukey Heights. This is checkered flag racing. So this is Doyle now ahead of Miles. That's Gerard trying to get through on him as well. Miles is going to have the inside at Lukey Heights. Doyle's going to be ahead of him though. Gerard's going to be on the outside. Hangs it on. Can't quite hold on to second place. Patterson's now pressuring him for the last spot on the podium. Miles looks a cheeky look at the inside of Doyle down the bottom, but unable to get through. So it's going to be Doyle, Miles, Gerard, and Patterson going into the final straight. But whoever gets a better run might be able to get a position before the line. Doyle at the leader pack. Looks like he's got a good run. Can Patterson get anyone? Can Gerard? Patterson looking the most dangerous. He is right behind Gerard, but
I think
don't think it's going to be enough slipstreams. So that Doyle's going to cross the start-finish line. Then it's Gerard. Then it's Miles. Then it's Gerard. Then it's Patterson.
I feel real bad for Oliver there as we watch. Who's that spinning out there, Gerard? I was watching him, and he just sort of got boxed in behind, didn't he? Like he had some pace in hand, but the gaps just didn't really open up enough for him to make a move.
No, they just didn't. It was really tough, really hard wheel-to-wheel racing. You had to see what was going to happen 3, 4, 5 corners in advance to know where to position your car, and he definitely didn't make bad decisions. It was a really tough situation, but other drivers perhaps just really didn't get a little bit better than him. But good to see Gerard fighting at the front of this pace of the race. I don't think we've seen that from Gerard in the Formula Fords before. But what we have seen is Doyle taking victory. So Doyle in first place, Miles in second, Gerard in third, Patterson in fourth, Hanmar in fifth, Oberstella in sixth, Milne in seventh, Harvey in eighth after a late spin, Horton in ninth after a late spin from the lead, Burling in 10th, Atkinson in 11th after earlier running in the podium positions, and then Shepard, Christensen and Brunt all early retirements. Hopefully, they return for race 3, even though we're well and truly now in conflict with the Matildas for viewers. I dare say the Matildas might get a few more views than us.
Oh, I don't know. I think it'll be pretty close.
Even though soccer is a less entertaining sport than motorsport, let's be real.
Yeah, so we've got a couple minutes in hand at the moment as the drivers have a quick warm-up before the feature race.
Yeah, so the drivers get a few minutes to try and just cool down if they've had a bit too much adrenaline. Perhaps go for a cheeky toilet break between races, and then we'll bring you the last of our 3 20-minute races for the night, and then you can go off and fully focus on the Matildas. Score for the Matildas still 0-0. England have had some threatening attacks, but certainly no gilt-edged opportunities. Kerr did have one, what looked to be a decent opportunity, but was flagged for offside.
Now, I'm receiving some advanced word about penalties we've got coming up. I should have something official on that in a moment.
So, car 18 and 6. Pit lane start for car 18. So, car 18 is Tyson
Scott
Hanmar.
Harvey, car 6, and Tyson Hanmar in 18.
So, Hanmar getting a pit lane start. I think we decided that...
Which is a fairly savage penalty in terms of stuff the stewards can dish out.
Yeah, pit lane start. Yeah, one of the harshest they can do other than perhaps a mid-race drive-through.
Yeah, they can't... I guess because the race is over and the penalty's coming out, that's really the best you can do, right?
Yeah, it's... because of the way iRacing works as well, a pit lane start's one of the easiest to administer because you don't need to do anything through the system. You just tell the driver and they can manually do a pit lane start by just not taking the grid in time for the start of the race.
So then what's our final grid look like?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more penalties as well. We noted one with Brunt that looked pretty straightforward call for the stewards, shall we say. And there were a couple of other incidents that we're yet to see whether there's been any resolution for. So I do wonder whether there'll be any.
Did you say Brunt?
Yes.
There's no... there doesn't appear to be any penalty coming through for him.
I wonder if it was a hardware issue then. Or something like that. I wonder if there was some sort of mitigating circumstance that we don't know about. So just to remind viewers, the Brunt incident we're referring to was lap 1 down into Honda. Looked to just absolutely clatter down the inside of just about everybody with far too much pace. Did look strange because of the amount of pace he was carrying, so definitely would not be surprised if there was a hardware failure or whether he'd picked up a damage beforehand or something that meant that the brakes weren't working properly, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Let me see if we can bring that one up again. This might be it here. This is the one that we were talking about.
Yeah.
I really would be expecting to see something from this.
Like, can we see anything from the ref counter or anything to indicate that?
So let's just look at
Brakes
this from the
aren't
outside
working.
again.
Unless his wheels got caught up with the Vermilion car, we didn't notice it the first time. Did they get caught up on entry? No, because he's by himself here, right?
Yeah,
And
he's by himself. It's just like a hero dive.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like no more penalties for race 2. So nothing from that in the end. Interesting. We're able to show the... I think they might be gridding up. I think it's just swapped over to the race session. So we'll be
Yes,
bringing you
we
live
are
racing
on
again
gridding.
shortly.
And we now have drivers out on track. Stewards are saying that that's basically a self-resolved penalty, and that he ended up starting last. So
Right, okay. Sam Kerr just getting a boot to the face in the
sorry,
meantime.
I think Brunt himself has chosen to start last.
Ah, right. Fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough.
So he's
Very sporting
he's
from,
taking his own penalty. That's something that we see a lot, isn't it? In this is like guys understanding when they have done goofed, and readdressing before stewards even get intervened. So the sportsmanship in this league just continues to astound me.
And it's one of the things you get, one of the reasons you join the league.
Here we go.
Racing in the officials, and it looks like we're about ready to go. Can confirm Atkinson, Shepherd, Christensen, those that were taken out, starting the field again. Harvey getting a really good launch. We saw that in race 1. He got a fantastic launch. He's got another one here, immediately ahead of Nick Berling, who started from pole. Mill in 3rd, Overstell in 4th, Patterson 5th, Miles 6th, Gerard 7th, Dawes 8th. And then Atkinson, Christensen, Shepherd, and Hammer, the positions all changing as they approach the first corner and go through there. In some cases, 2x2. In some cases, I dare say, 3x3. Harvey still at the front of the field, though. That looks like it's Miles. Miles dropping down the order. And Doyle. Doyle dropping down the order as well. So that's a big incident at the front there. Doyle looks like he's continued, but is well back from where we would expect him to be. And Miles dropping all the way to the back of the pack with Christensen. So there's been contact somewhere. That's 2 cars going side by side in the first corner. That's Berling and Milne trying to go 2 wide down into Honda as they approach Miller. It's going to be Harvey that leads the race by a country margin. Berling in 2nd, Milne 3rd, Obersteller in 4th. Obersteller and Patterson behind him, and then Shepherd. So Patterson and Shepherd resuming their battle. This time it's Doyle who seems to be not with his old rivals, down in 10th place. This is Berling. He's got... Oh, there's contact. They're going to find the wall. That's a
big
heavy
hit.
incident.
That's got to be a toe.
Got to be a toe. Got to be a safety car.
One of them is off. Who's that back there? That is...
That's Milne. Milne is the car that hasn't continued. That's number 173.
I was just about to say that from that first accident, everyone has gotten moving, and then we have that.
So what that means is Harvey in the lead of the race, Obersteller 2nd, Patterson 3rd, Shepherd 4th. So Patterson and Shepherd already in the podium position battle. Then Hanmeyer in 5th, Gerard in 6th, Doyle in 7th. This might save him because Doyle had not a good start getting caught up in something.
This is the incidents at the start that we've got here now. We're just watching this one. This is focused on Jamie Christensen.
Christensen into the back of Doyle, sends Doyle out wide, and Christian goes out wide.
Have a look at that from his onboard, actually.
So we'll just bring you the onboard of that. So Christian's following Doyle.
Little oopsie, I think.
Typical lap 1 incident. Just different velocities heading into the corner and collecting each other. Car behind's fault pretty much every time. So Flame's going to line Christian for that one. But self-policing, I don't think there's any need for a... personally, I wouldn't see any need for a penalty there with Christensen at the back of the field. And I haven't seen any evidence of the safety car out. Harvey's still in the lead. Oversteller's in 2nd, Patterson's in 3rd. Shepherd is in 4th place. The safety car is out on track. It is waiting for them to catch up. They are just driving around I was looking at the track map, and it looks like they're driving around awfully quickly, but I think they're just waiting to catch up to the back of the safety car. Orlando Black is out on track in our epoxy resin safety car.
Replay, yeah, so this is Orlando Black coming out. Still got to obey that pit limiter, even if you're the safety car.
Yeah, I would hope if you do get a 30-second stop go as a safety car, it's not going to matter. You'd hope you'd have that long before you need to come out again after driving the cars around for a little bit. But there's been a few instances this race, and you know what they say, safety cars breed safety cars.
So yeah, it looks like Orlando's just crawling around waiting for the pack to catch up to him.
I dare say that's a penalty shout for the Matildas that's been turned down. Going to be a corner instead. So, Harvey in the lead of the race. Here is our grid. Harvey, Obersteller, Patterson, Shepherd, Hanmer, Gerard, Doyle, Miles, Atkinson, and then Milne is a lap down but has rejoined the race.
You know, Obersteller needs a break here. He deserves a break after races 1 and 2.
Does he though? After all the ribbing?
Oh, I feel like we dish it out to him far more than he gives to us.
Have you watched the Thursday night broadcasts?
Not last week, I didn't. Did we cop it?
Yeah. I cop it every time, mate. I cop it every time. To be fair, I don't have myself.
You are out on track, though.
But
so
I am out on track. But so is Obersteller.
Now, nothing
So-
from race control yet.
Harvey and Obersteller at the lead of this race is a bit of a wild card because we know Harvey's got pace. We know Harvey has pace because he qualified on pole.
Yes.
We know Obersteller has pace, and he generally does grow into these Formula Ford events as we go through the free races. It's not a given that Patterson and Shepherd are going to be able to get past them, and we've had so many incidents. It could be interesting with the 4 of them at the front.
I would love for Aaron to grab a podium here, just so we can get him in the broadcast with us, because we've never had him in here, have we?
No, is he available? Can we pull him in? How much do you think he'd love us if we pulled him in?
You know what?
Right now.
I think he'd be fine with it right now, but I don't even think he's in. No, he's not even in the chat. He's in a completely different Discord.
Ah, wow. That's on him. That is on him. We'd love to bring you that. We'll see if we can organise that for the next round. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll get him on standby.
You know, we did have him suited up for last week, but it didn't end up working.
They pulled me in the NASCAR race on Thursday, while we were behind the safety car waiting for the race to start, and then I immediately spun on turn 1. After they wished me luck.
Oh, that's savage.
It was pretty savage.
Oh, and look, we've got Donna Doyle in here with us as well.
Oh, yay! Hello, Donna.
We are so happy to have you here, Donna. Thank you for joining us.
It genuinely brings a smile to my face when I see Donna in the chat.
Absolutely, and Donna says she's also.
It's just lovely
the
knowing that
Matildas
there
as
are
well.
like.
You know what actually gets me really...
That's a good evening. That is the way to spend your evening. It's really nice to know we do have friends and family. Go on.
What really gets me excited is that I'm hearing people talking about the Matildas game in a way that I don't remember people talking about women's sports before.
It is wonderful, isn't it? It's
fantastic.
It's the watershed moment. Let's not beat about the bush. This is a change in the sporting landscape that I hope continues. I hope the popularity of the Matildas continues after the World Cup and stays forever, because it's absolutely wonderful. If you talk to anyone that's been there, the atmosphere apparently in the stadiums is incredible. Not just loud and exciting, but safe as well. Apparently it's been a wonderful atmosphere in the stadiums. Everyone seems to love the Matildas. They're breaking viewership records across the country every time they play. It's amazing. And you think 10 years ago they might not have even got shown on TV. That's the change.
Yeah, it's really come
So
leaps and bounds, and it's just so exciting, and it's not often that Australia has the very best player in the world at a sport, but we've got Sam Kerr, and that's pretty hype.
We do. We do also have we've got a few of the very best in the world of different sports. We've got obviously Sam Kerr and soccer. Bringing it back to motorsport, we have Will Power, who's obviously one of the greatest IndyCar drivers of all time and does not get the recognition he deserves in Australia. But why don't we combine the two? When do you think we will see our first modern woman in Formula One?
Okay,
'Cause it's going to happen at some point.
I think the first Formula One, well, not the first because we've had them before, but the next F1 female is karting right now. In like junior karting, I think that we're probably a decade away, which I wish it was sooner, but I don't think that there are currently enough women entering. Because like you've got to make it through a whole bunch of filters, right? You've got to have talent, money, luck, and I don't know, something else. And if there's 10,000 boys entering karting every year, and there's probably more than that, and only 100 women, then the chances that one of those women makes it through all those filters is just so low. But I'm hoping that the way that women's sporting is going, that we'll start to see more volume increase.
I will. I really hope that the next generation of F1 fans that grow up will have at least a female to support, and I don't see why we can't have more than that in the future. And hopefully the W League may be no more, but hopefully the new junior women's series being run in F1 forecast supported by F1 will be the building block for that. But we're gonna have to stop talking about that because we've got a murder race on our hands. Scott Harvey has led the pack away from Obersteller, Patterson, and Shepard. No change at the front right now, although Shepard is right behind Patterson.
That's an off-track back.
Say that?
Back there too.
Yeah, so Christensen not having a clean start. He's got Milne and Atkinson behind him. Gerald and Doyle are doing battle. They've just swapped positions a couple of times. It's Obersteller still in second. Shepard is now in third place. He's got past old rival Patterson, and I would dare say Patterson's going to launch an attack back against him into Miller. Is that Patterson on the inside? There it is. But I think Shepard's going to be the first to actually make it work. Around the outside, holds on to the position.
Yeah, I was a bit worried for him there, but OP definitely had the speed coming down the straight to hold on to that.
He certainly did OP. And look at Obersteller right behind Harvey as well. That could be a move before the end of this lap, or if not before the end of that turn one. Oh. That's someone wide. Is he going to get the stop? I think he has got to stop. That's contact between Obersteller and Harvey. Harvey fall into the back of the pack. Obersteller still in second place, so that might be about to come third because Hanmar is up alongside him, and Shepard has inherited the lead of this race. So we've got Shepard, Hanmer, then Obersteller just keeping it on the black stuff, going very wide at the exit there.
So much worse for Aaron.
It really could have been. I'd say we're going to have to go see what happened, but it's too late, and it's bad news. England have just scored against Australia. They are now 1-0 down. It is Shepard ahead of Hanmer, ahead of Obersteller, ahead of Patterson.
Oliver moving up on the inside there, retains fourth from Ben Miles. And that is another off-track there by Christensen. A little bit of a loosey-goosey sideways action. Aaron, I can't even see who's in second at the moment. The timing screen's not working. Let's see if we can get a refresh on that.
It's Hanmer in second with Obersteller in third and Miles in fourth.
Okay, there we go. Quick refresh and we've got that back.
And then I was going to move in the background. Patterson and Doyle swapping places. I think Doyle trying to go around the outside of Patterson. Don't think he's quite made it stick.
Oh, I think he didn't, but I think Sean's got the speed. He might be able to get him going inside here. Yeah, he's got the inside line, and he's back in front now of OP. Also in chat there, Donna Doyle says she's hard splitting between the soccer and you guys, especially as an ex-A grade and rep soccer player. Well, that's a bit of a claim to fame.
So that's where Doyle gets all those reaction times from. Is obviously inherited all his sporting achievements from Donna and just decided to apply it in a different format.
Oh, and also, while we have a quick break in the action here, I will say that Sophia Florsch scored the first points in Formula 3 for any woman.
Yes, she did. She did the last round.
As
yes.
we get a change for lead here between Tyson Hammer and British Shepherd.
And she did it from quite far back as well, if I remember right. Made quite a few overtakes.
I'm actually quite a fan of her. I've been following her for quite a few years. She does lots of WEC driving, and she did a whole season of DTM. Big fan.
Yeah, very good driver, very adaptable driver as well. Definitely one of the fastest female drivers active currently. But we got the fastest drivers active currently in the ANZ ESeries on track, and they are 2x2x2. So we got to call this. It's Shepard and Hanma in the battle for the leads. Hanma coming back at Shepard, not something I thought we might be seeing. Obersteller's trying to get involved. He's now on the outside of Shepard, not going to hold it out there, and he's got Miles on the inside. So it's Hanma, Shepard, Miles, then Obersteller, then Doyle. So Doyle's in this battle for the lead now as well. 5 cars all within half a second of the lead of this race. Only a few more laps to go. Not going to want to wait to launch an attack. And, oh, that was close between Obersteller and Miles then. Obersteller worried about defending from Doyle. Almost goes into the back of Miles. That's Miles trying to launch an attack on Shepard. Hanma's in the lead. I think these lot do so much battling that he just scoots away scot-free. I think they're going to be too wise to that, surely. Although saying that, there hasn't been an awful lot of wisdom on show here tonight at times with the amount of collisions that we've had earlier on in races. You've got Obersteller trying to defend from Doyle. That's some hard jacker that Obersteller's going to have to do if he wants to finish this race in that position as we head into the final quarter.
From that earlier incident? Because he looks a little wounded.
He might be, but I don't know why you wouldn't.
Any damage, but
I think you'd come in and take the free free repair.
Maybe he's just got like a crooked. Well, I mean, if you come in and take that free repair, you're lost.
I suppose it could have happened since then. Definitely have happened since then. Regardless of whatever is happening to Obersteller, we've got Miles and Hanma side by side for the lead of the race. So Miles has managed to get past Shepard. Shepard now relegated to 3rd place. Miles looking like going up the inside of Hanma. He's going to have the outside as they go down to Miller from Honda. And I think Miles is going to be in the lead of this race. So it's Miles, Hanma, Shepard. So Miles has come from 3rd place to the lead of this race in the last couple of laps. Doyle is in 4th. Obersteller is in 5th place.
Poor Oliver is just sort of starting to fall back from this pack, isn't he?
Yeah, he just doesn't quite have the pace to run with these guys at the moment. That's Doyle making a move on Shepard. Shepard also losing a bit of pace. I thought he'd be challenging for the lead, and that's him off. Shepard off onto the grass. He'll do well to stop that and not take anyone out. Hopefully they all get past him. I think they did, but that's taking him out of the battle for the lead. He is down into 7th place. So it is now Miles, then Hanma. That is who you're watching on your screen right now. Then it's Obersteller, then it's Christensen, then it's Patterson, with Shepard 6.5 seconds behind. So it is now a 3-car race at the front. Miles, Hanma, and Doyle. Looked like for a second like they'd all slowed down, but I think that was just a trick of the camera angle because they're not slowing down. This is Miles launched an attack on Hanma. He's going to be inside going into the first corner. They're going to be absolutely neck and neck. Hanma tries to carry a little bit more speed. Then Miles has just gone a little bit deeper on the brakes. Miles gets the move done on the inside. Hanma's going to have the inside around the southern loop, though. That's definitely where you want to be. Do not want to be going out wide at southern loop. Miles is going to do his best to hang around the outside, so he has the inside going into Honda. But I think Hanma has just got cleanly ahead of Miles. In fact, Miles is falling behind Sean Doyle, so Miles now all the way down into 3rd place after launching an attack for the lead of the race. No, he's leading, going onto the previous lap. And now Doyle looking to get in this battle. No, that's going to be Hanma looking back at the lead of the race. Miles is on the inside. Hanma's on the outside. Very, very close to contact. Can they get through cleanly? They do. Miles is shoved out towards the outside. Hanma is in the lead. He's going to... No, he's not going to slide in. He's still side by side. And that's going to be inside here. And now let's Doyle go around the outside, making it 3 wide as they approach the southern... As they approach Lukey Heights. Now it's going for it. It's going for it. There's contact on the front. Oh, no, that's... Doyle, Obersteller involved in that. Miles involved in that. Shepard goes up to 4 places. Hanma who's the lone wolf out of the three that are battling for the lead, who's made it through unscathed. So it's Hanma, then miles behind, 3.8 seconds behind is going to be Christensen, then Patterson, then Shepard, then Milne. And I don't think there's going to be time for a safety car. So I think even if they do need to tow, we will not be seeing another safety car because it just won't be time for it to effectively get around and sort everything else before we can go racing again.
And I'm just looking at Oliver Patterson here. Is this going to be a cheeky little podium for Oliver out of all of this?
It might be. And Brody Shepard, who we saw battling for the lead of the race, going onto the grass, taking himself completely out of it, all the way down in 7th, now in 2nd place.
Suddenly back in contention for a podium.
Absolutely crazy. He's going to have to hold off Patterson if he wants 2nd, but a podium's looking likely. Would not have said that even a minute ago. Absolute madness here at Phillip Island. Doesn't this circuit just always deliver? And there's Patterson. He's down the inside of Shepard.
Move. Shepard looking for the switchback maybe, but I think Oliver's got the inside line here, so he should come out ahead.
Yeah, and he certainly will. He certainly will.
Although that wider line is going to give a strong amount of tow to Shepard.
It's certainly not over, but Patterson just looks to have the speed of Shepard right now. I do wonder if Shepard is carrying a little damage, perhaps not quite got his tyres back up to temperature after his little rally driving endeavour. He's kind of doing a Kimi Raikkonen in this race. He was strong for a while, went off to do a bit of rally driving for a break, and now is not quite as good as he was earlier on. So just me liking his career trajectory there is Shepard.
So Shepard's got a championship.
But of course, Hanma, after everything, he's been in the battle for the lead of this race pretty much since the start. Everybody else has been wiping themselves out. And he's gonna take the final honours here in this race unless he makes a mistake. Shepard 2nd, Patterson 3rd, Harvey 4th as we go on to the final lap of the race.
Apologies, we're just having
and I think Shepard's had some sort of incident. He's just falling a solid 2nd behind. He's still having the incident, going over the grass on the approach to Southern Loop, gets back on.
Oh, and that was somebody just
don't know if he caused that. Oh, that was going to happen anyway, but that was spectacular.
That was David Milne that went off.
Can we get another look at that? That was some real speed. He went off the track there.
You certainly can. Okay, we're looking at David Milne's perspective right now.
There's some damage for Harvey.
Oh, maybe just a little bit of an overreaction there by Milne. I think if he had just stayed on line, he might have been okay, because I don't think he actually made contact.
No, I don't think he did. It looks like he gets spooked and just drives off the track, which is very, very, very easily done. Very easily done. Those cars are on such a knife edge for that corner. You're putting a steering input you're not expecting to have to put in, and you can very easily end up off track, even though you thought it was just going to be a very minor adjustment. You can easily muck it up, and I think that's what's happened there.
Now,
however,
Harvey's about a half second behind Ben Miles, but I would say that this is how things are going to shake out as we cross the finish line. Unless Obersteller makes a quick final move here, she's not going to be able to. A little bit too far back as they cross the line as well.
Yeah, too far back. So, that's it. Race over. Hanmar takes the lead. A deserved victory in the end after keeping it clean. Then it's Patterson.
And
then it's Miles after that late incident for Shepard. Scott Harvey finishes in 4th place. It is 2 podiums for Patterson. Is he going to be there? No, surely it'll be Doyle will still be the highest. I wouldn't like to bet who's going to be the highest scorer for the round, actually.
I couldn't tell
Scott
you.
Harvey finally turns his pole position into a half-decent result for race 3. 4th place for Scott Harvey. Matthew Gerard in 5th. Aaron Obersteller in 6th. Brody Shepard in 7th. Atkinson in 8th. Half-decent result for Atkinson. Milne in 9th. Christensen in 10th. Doyle in 11th. And Nick Burling in 12th place with Horton and Brunt both retiring. And half-time in the semi-final is England 1, Australia 0. Australia seemed to grow into it throughout the second half, but England, with a lot of pressure at the beginning, I think probably on balance, deserve to be in the lead, as much as that hurts to say. But definitely not out of it, definitely fairly close. But England edging that first half with a single goal. Right. Shall we see who we can get for some
Well, I
interviews for you to
have a
conduct?
couple of replays for us.
Ooh, let's have a look.
So, let's have a look at this one. So this is the early Oberstella Christensen come together.
Pain for lots of drivers. That's how I summarise that.
Yep,
I've
that
got Ben
feels
Fleck
accurate.
joining us in the box. Ben, how you going?
Good. How are you boys?
Good, entertaining races.
Good, action-packed
Busy night in
race.
race control.
Yeah, it was an awesome race. Awesome racing. It wasn't too bad. There was just a couple of things just to briefly look at, but other than that, there wasn't a whole lot to look at. I was just talking to Ben about Tyson Hanmer's pit lane to P1.
Yeah,
Was-
yeah. 'Cause he,
That wheel touch was nearly deadly. Holy crap.
Yeah, that was my bad. Wow.
Gentlemen, welcome to the stream.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, Sean did get loose. Sorry, we're all just watching back the.
well, there's so
the
many
big
incidents to watch back. You'll be here all night if you try and go through all of the big moments.
Yeah.
Particularly race 2. Race 2 was just absolute chaos on a racetrack. That was something else.
It's pretty spicy.
We had,
You know,
we
it's
had the
it's
very
spicy when you've got.
the last two races were very spicy in general. I don't even know where to start sorting all of this out. Okay, alright. Oliver, this is the first time we've had you here. We'll start with you.
Yep.
Race 1. Congratulations on P3, and I think it's your first podium, is that right? At least for this season?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, congratulations. Talk us through, start with race 1 for us.
Yeah, I was just sending it really. I don't know. I just had to go, and everyone was pretty quick, but for some reason, like I just picked it up quicker in practice. I think I've run this before, like maybe a couple months ago, so could have had a bit of an advantage. But yeah, it was good fun.
I was saying on stream earlier that, we often see you battling in the mid-pack, but this is really the first time we've seen you, up the front on, like, raw pace, which is fantastic to see. So it's nice to have, I guess, maybe a little bit of a reason, like a couple of dots we can connect. You were just saying before that, you've got a little bit more of experience with this car and track combination.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So that was pretty much it. I think I'd run a few laps, maybe like 20 laps, and then. Now, I think I did the 20 minutes practice beforehand and the quali, and I was up to pace somehow. So yeah, it just worked out. Something's clicked, maybe. I'm not really happy to be up there.
All right, now talk us through race 2, because we didn't see you. I was sort of expecting to see you running up the front again, but you sort of fell away a little bit in that one. So what sort of happened with the pace? Sort of after the safety car, we didn't see you quite as racy.
Yeah, just like pretty bit of fatigue, lost confidence a little bit probably. So I was just trying to be safe and make sure I didn't crash. And I think it ended up pretty well after everyone got together. I sort of just chucked it around the outside. And I was away. I was in second. So
Yeah. Well, that would be race 3. Right. So that's two podiums in a single evening. You got to be pretty psyched about that. I mean, if we're going to follow this trajectory, then race 2 next fortnight you should be on P1. That's how that works, right?
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
have a couple. Yeah, 3 wins and pole. I think will be good.
Yeah, fantastic. And can we chuck a fastest lap in there as well for the just for posterity?
Oh, gotta leave something for the rest of us, you know.
All right, fantastic. Okay, Tyson, what the hell?
Yeah, my thoughts exactly.
Hits to P1.
Well, I jokingly said at the start of the race, guys, can you produce a safety car for me just because I can catch up to the back? I wasn't expecting half the field to die at T2, so yeah. But no,
We're going to
we
do things with
had,
reverse for you tonight. We're going to start at race 3, and then we're going to go backwards because we've got to talk about race 2 as well. And I think you know
so
what I'm talking about.
We start with the good and end with the bad. Okay, I see how it is.
So, what were the big moments for you in race 3? So, other than so everyone just mass seppuku and you coming through unscathed.
I was following Brody at the start. I obviously got to P2 when I forget who went off because I think I started in 5th or whatever in on the safety car restart. I managed to get up to 2nd behind Brody, and I noticed that obviously every other race was just a toe fest, and I'm thinking, well, this is race 3. I've started from pits. Nah, we're going to spice it up. So instead of sitting behind Brody, I took the very first advantage I had with the draft and just stuck it and kept it pinned, and then Ben and Sean caught up as well, and it was dicey and a lot of fun too. So yeah, kind of happy that we were wheel to wheel a lot, a little bit of some moments, but managed to keep it together. I think that just speaks of Ben and Sean's racecraft more than anything, to be able to hold it. Then they unfortunately tagged together, and I somehow managed to find a gap and go through.
All right, and so I believe the pit lane start was a self-imposed penalty. Did I hear that correct?
It was an incident with Scott Harvey. I was expecting him to take a bit more of an inside line, but he held the middle, and I've just accidentally given him a bit of a kiss up the backside, and yeah, just got a post-race black flag, which meant to stuff and bits, which worked out well.
It turns out that the pit lane start was the winning strategy.
Must have been, yeah.
All right, fantastic. Now, Mr. Miles.
Hello.
Talk to me. How are you feeling?
Yes.
Congratulations on your podium.
Thanks. It was stressful. All of those races were stressful. Sean is a pest. Constantly racing with him is very tiring. But it's good. Really good fun.
The man very rarely makes a mistake. In fact, I can't remember the last time that I didn't have him in the broadcast room after a race to talk about his icy cold flawless driving.
And I feel a little bit responsible for that, but race control thought it was more on him than me, so I'm just happy with that.
Favorite moment from this evening?
3 wide with Tyson and Sean, I think. That was good. Right before we crashed.
Oh, right. Yeah. There's the moments right before.
It was amazing until it wasn't
the best. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right.
And going around turn 1, 2 wide with Tyson and Sean on I think it was the last race.
We also have a quick special guest here for us, Aaron.
Good afternoon, gents. I haven't done the Formula Fords with you guys before, but that was fun.
That was wild. You did not have a lot of luck.
Oh no, luck's got nothing to do with it. I came in here to see what it's all about and see what all the fuss is about. Anyone that's listening out there and you think you can race a Formula Ford, race with these Pelicans. It's a bit of fun.
Yeah, it's Tyson Hanmar's results in race 3 are proof that it doesn't matter where you are, you can still win in Formula Fords.
Yeah, well, yep. I reckon you got the 3 biggest wobblers in the room here at the moment. I'm not included. We got here? Ben Faulkner in here. We got Ben Miles. We got Oliver Patterson, Tyson Hamner. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And not to mention Liam Banks. Gee whiz, what an absolute all-star cast we got in here, hey?
How did I get out of this unscathed? I've been throwing more shade than an umbrella tonight.
He also has a good birthday tomorrow. Taking it easy.
I'm only jumping in here so I can just put the word out. If that's the sort of racing that you guys can put on the Formula Ford, get into the 86s tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Get in there and show us what you got.
And for anyone not in the know, Aaron Obersteller is one of our Thursday night broadcasters, along with Connor Nixon. They bring you the 86s and the NASCAR. So once again, congratulations to all 3 of you, except for Aaron. And Liam, I will throw back to you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I just want to confirm that definitely no celebrations for Aaron for that performance. I know it was his first time out, but like, come on, Aaron, let's up it next time. Anyway, that's it for our Wednesday night motorsport for you. We will be back tomorrow night with the GR86s around Brands Hatch. For any of you who know that car, who know that track, you know that's going to be a wonderful combination. It's going to be fantastic racing. Get up on track if you're a racer yourself, and then get back in afterwards, get on the YouTube and watch the broadcast, because it pains me to say it, but Obersteller and Nixon are an absolute joy to listen to, and they really bring those races to life for everybody involved. But that's it for ANZ E-Series for Wednesday. We've gone over what's coming to you for the rest of the week. I'm Liam Banks. Alongside me is Mitchell Patterson. Thanks for all your effort tonight, Mitch. And from both of us and the rest of us here at ANZ E-Series, until we see you next, good night.